mail people never delivered it. It was supposed to be delivered on the 23rd of October.
Oh my God.
I just got it yesterday.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this was real.
See, I figured that they had to pay too much to Deshaun, and maybe that was the reason.
Well, something about the government shutting down and it's slowing mail down and all that jazz. So
I mean, you're just doing pre and post, Tyvis. You don't need all that much for that, do you?
Actually, I need more for the heartaches that I'm going through this year. I need more.
That's true. But you know what? You're used to it, right? The heartache, the pain, the suffering, all
No. I'm from Ohio State. We win. It's a winning culture. So I'm not really used to this losing stuff.
That's why it's such a shock when you go to the NFL, right, Tyvis, when you come from a program like Ohio State. One of my, to set the table first and foremost, we're here, of course, because it's Tuesday night. This is a big night for college football. The rankings are about to get revealed. So we've got some people behind the scenes. Our digital director, Tyler, Jen Winters is there too. We're going to have some very, very special guests that will pop into the program along the way. Some voices and some faces that you're very familiar with here on the Fan. So that'll be fun as we'll kind of intertwine and go with the 3 box and maybe the quad box. I don't know if we can do the Hanson Octo box. I don't know if we can find that many people, but we'll break it all down. As ESPN reveals the rankings, we'll talk about where these teams stand. I would certainly hope that Ohio State is number 1 when it's all said and done. We live in SEC land when we're talking about ESPN.
It won't even be the SEC. If anything, it would be Indiana because of the people want to go off of the strength of schedule. You know, people want to say that Indiana has the most impressive win on the season by going to Autzen Stadium and beating Oregon there. That's like out of all the teams in the top 25, they're saying that is the top win of all of this season. So if that's the case and they look at it that way, obviously that can hold some weight. So I think that it's a possibility that Indiana could be number 1. Does it matter in the grand scheme of things? Not at all. Not at all. The last one matters the most, but I mean, I think that on the neutral side, Ohio State versus anybody, like they'll beat them. So it's whatever. If they want to make a conversation and put Indiana at 1, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm completely with you. You go back to what Indiana has accomplished this year. I mean, it's actually cool to see Indiana ranked so highly, and they've been able to do that with not playing a very big non-conference schedule. They kind of got criticized a little bit for scheduling soft with their non-con.
Yeah. Well, Kirk Cignetti said he's just doing what the SEC does.
Yep. He's always got something to say. But hey, I mean, it's not that much of a problem when you do have a road game at Oregon on your schedule. You win that game and you're undefeated. Then what you have done on the field basically speaks for itself. You know, as the season goes along, if you do take one of those losses, then everybody's going to start to nitpick. But as long as they got that win against Oregon, a mightily impressive win against Illinois, where they beat them by 53 points. Indiana was at home. Indiana dropped off a little bit. We always are going to not just analyze what the team's preseason ranking was and what they were ranked at the time of the game. Unless you're the SEC, then even when a team is unranked, you will say, we just beat the preseason ranked 13th best team. Yeah, but they're like the 50th best team right now. Does that matter? No. We will give credit to the SEC teams, but you won't really mention how Purdue played a tough game against Michigan. That to take away from Michigan and what they maybe are not. I heard you guys talking, Tyvis, a team like Washington gets to be ranked now. They didn't play and they get to be ranked as a 2-loss team. I do think that you could take a look at some of the 2-loss and even 3-loss Big Ten teams. Like you look at Illinois, who is a 3-loss, 6-3, and some of their losses. The only ugly one, of course, we mentioned was Indiana, but I think their resume, if you compare it to Tennessee's, Illinois is probably better, but one of them is ranked in the AP poll and Illinois is not.
We starting from 25. Tennessee's 25. Pitt is 24. We got a long way to go before we get to 6. Pitt wasn't in the AP rankings, I don't think. So that's kind of a shocker.
The Pitt Panthers find themselves into the rankings.
Washington, 23. There we go.
There you go. Yeah, you are right about that, Tyvis. I do not think Pitt was even in the next 5 out receiving votes because Cincinnati was hanging in there. They dropped 8 spots in the AP poll and stayed in at 7-2. Shall we bring in one of our first guests here? He was hanging out in the green room there. Your partner in Morning Drive, T-Bone. The lead host.
Well, it's perfect. It's perfect time to bring him in because his Missouri Tigers is 22. The Wolverines is 21. He's a big Mizzou guy this year for whatever reason.
T-Bone, or shall I say Coach Andy Reid, who wins the fans' Halloween costume. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, sorry about this. This is just still how I look. We're working on it. I'm a big Missouri fan because I took Ahmad Hardy at like plus $1 million to win the Heisman. So I was trying to kind of goose his numbers a little bit, a little insider dealing, but it didn't happen for me. So I don't think he's gonna make the final 3, is what I'm saying. Couldn't get that buyout on the gambling side. But no, I gotta tell you, Tennessee even being ranked is stupid. Because let me tell you the theme for me watching these rankings, the SEC, I have watched a lot of SEC football. And I was actually glad the YouTube TV thing happened with ESPN because it gave me a great excuse to not watch that garbage conference for a few years, right?
And we didn't have to watch Cowboys Cardinals either. I was totally cool with that.
Well, I found my way to check into that. That actually interested me a little bit. I wanted to see Marv do his thing, but I've watched so much SEC football this year because I've been quad boxing. I've been spending 9 hours a day on Saturdays watching Buckeyes and watching everything I can. I love college football. This SEC conference, it's probably as down as I've seen it in the last 25 years. The problem is people confuse good with competitive because all these teams in the SEC are very competitive because they all are majorly flawed, but they will all give each other games. Arkansas gives all these teams hell every freaking weekend. Arkansas's terrible. They're not a good football team. They're bad. But you go look at all these schedules. All of these teams have played Arkansas to like a touchdown or less, and all these teams are getting ranked. Arkansas is like, what, a 3-win football team? I'm just saying the theme for me watching this is there are going to be some SEC teams that are I'm curious to see what they do at the top 10. Because
right now, let me update people that's not
I'm
watching.
a believer that this SEC is weak.
Yeah, go ahead, Tyvis. What do we got with the rankings here?
Iowa's 20, USC 19, Miami 18, Georgia Tech 17, Vanderbilt 16. So right now we got 4 teams in the top 25 from the Big Ten. We got Washington at 23, Wolverines at 21, Iowa at 20, and USC at 19 so far. Louisville at 15, right? Just came out. Just want to update y'all on that.
Yeah, I mean, Timmy, let me ask you, if Michigan, Iowa, USC, Washington played schools that were named Vanderbilt and Arkansas and Mississippi State, as opposed to schools they have played, I feel like they would be a little higher just because it's believed that the SEC is so tough. If you look at their schedules, their records and who they've played, I don't think it's a lot of drop-off between that level of the Big Ten and some of the SEC teams that are getting credit here that I think are going to be put a little bit higher. I just feel like Michigan and Iowa and USC and Washington are very similar to that middle of the SEC. I don't think there's a lot of separation there.
I agree with you. And again, this would be pointing to past years. I don't have the data right in front of me, but I feel like, didn't Illinois just beat South Carolina in their most recent bowl game? I know they had there was some kind of crazy situation that got all the headlines where they were fighting about the T signal on the kick return, but I think that was one where the Big Ten won. And I feel like more often than not, when you get the middle against the middle, the Big Ten, and I'm not one to even hold a conference hostage for meaningless bowl games. In the end, they really don't matter. People want to use them to their advantage. We had a football game out there, but a lot of guys are sitting out because they're getting ready for the next level. They don't matter as much. We're trying to go to college football. We're trying to go to the college football playoff, get our teams there, and then win and then advance. And the SEC had a hard enough time just getting in to the first expanded college football playoff. So the narrative sort of changes. I do think there's a lot there when you take a look at the network that has a lot of backing in how that conference performs. I'm with you. I don't think there's much difference from the schools that you mentioned who have really nice resumes, and they play good complementary football too. I mean, I think Michigan offensively has issues there, but Iowa has played some really good games and played really great defense. And we know the most complete team in America, that's the Buckeyes right now. And then Indiana is, I think when you look at both sides of the ball, the second best team in the country. I really don't think there's any disputing 1 and 2 with the game control. Also, when you look at those two,
we get into the top 10. Notre Dame is 10, but to update everybody,
Tyvis, talking about your favorite team there at number 13, your guy.
Yeah, I know. Louisville 15, Virginia 14, Utah.
Tyvis hates Utah.
It's not that I hate Utah. They're never going to be a championship team. That's my thing with them. Utah's 3, Oklahoma's 12, I think it was. And I forget. Oh, Texas was 11. Notre Dame is 10. So we're getting in the top 10 now.
All right, I think we should do it. I think we should go with a quad box now. The show is going. There was some discussion. We weren't really sure what the format would be, if they were going to take the entire hour to spit all these rankings out. We were saying, is this going to be going till 9 o'clock, till 8:30? How fast are they going to do this? Let's quad box it, though. Let's bring in Common Man, my guy, from 3 to 6. Little afternoon drive to morning drive right here. What do we got? What do we got? This is a real nice look as we're all just
this sounds like a real analysis conversation. I don't know why I'm here.
I love the bucket hat.
I like the bucket hat too.
I mean, Tyvis is just talking into a big white cone. I don't know what the hell he's
it's a mic. What?
Oh, I see. Now I see it.
Yeah, that's a hell of a nice looking mic there, Tyvis.
What store did you get that from, Tyvis? Do they sponsor any programs here on the Fan?
Do they sponsor any basement shows?
Wait a minute. Y'all don't use a mic when y'all talking, do these things?
No, I'm talking right in the computer. I don't need a dildaroonie for people to hear me.
External microphone.
Oregon's number 9. Let me just update the people. Oregon's 9. That's crazy. Y'all don't really care about y'all craft. You know, people need to hear y'all voice clearly. That's why you have to use a microphone.
Yeah, I'm gonna use
you know what it is? It's a under 40 thing. It's a thing. It's for people that's under 40.
Man, you keep holding on to that, Tyvis. You keep holding on to the under 40, but it's gonna hit you, and it's gonna hit you hard, my friend.
Hey man, we're not
a son of a bitch.
We're not that old, Tyvis. We all use Venmo here. I mean, our parents can't figure that out, but we figure out the digital money situation.
Well, yeah, good news is Venmo came out before you hit 40, so yeah, you was able to.
I just saw that BYU is 7. I know Tyvis hates Utah. Do you hate all the white people out there, or is it just Utah that you hate?
First of all, I have no problem with the Caucasian race at all. Actually, I work with a bunch of Caucasians, so therefore I love them. Let's get that cleared up right now. Utah to me, it just doesn't roll off the tongue to say Utah is competing for a national championship. Can you ever in your mind think that Utah will be playing in the championship game? Because I don't see it. They don't.
No, but
that's my point.
I can't see half of these teams playing in championship game. Can you?
That's not crazy to say a Georgia or Utah.
No, of course.
I mean, not Utah.
Georgia. BYU's 7th in this. You think BYU's can be a national champion?
You know what's interesting about BYU? They produce some really good NFL players. It's unbelievable. I don't understand why they don't go further.
Zach Wilson's fantastic.
Not him. Outside of him. I mean, you talk about Fred Warner. Didn't Puka go from BYU?
Puka. Yeah.
Puka's from BYU. They got some good stud players come out of BYU. I don't understand why they aren't better than what they are.
But Tyvis, at the same regard, we could say that about a lot of schools out there. How many Big Ten programs? We're just talking about Iowa. How many great pros do the Iowa Hawkeyes have? It doesn't necessarily.
But what I'm saying is BYU's they're not just putting out just good play. These is all pro players, top at their position. That's what I'm saying.
All right, Buckeyes are number 1.
Of course.
Yeah,
and they
got it
should
right.
be number one. I mean, it's not the end of the world if they're not, but I mean, they should be number one. I was having this discussion with Timmy today. I don't care what happened last year with the teams that had to bye. To me, you got to be insane if you don't want to skip that first round. Am I off my rocker?
I agree with you.
No, I mean, now when you're talking about, let's see, Ohio State played they last bye was 2 weeks ago, so that means that they're gonna play roughly 5 games straight. You want to break. You want to break after that. Like you giving yourself a chance to let your body rest and recover. Yeah, you want that bye. I don't care what they say. That Ohio State last year, they needed to play at Tennessee because they needed to get their confidence back. I don't think they lack confidence right now. Obviously, we got to wait till the last game of the season. But right now, I think that they playing so well, like they can take a week off and still be fine.
Can I ask you, can I pose, what is the SEC school as we're looking at the top 6 right here and give it to them, whatever, right? 4 SEC teams are in the top 6, but 1 and 2 are Ohio State and Indiana. The SEC team that gives you the most fear.
Alabama.
Bama for you right now?
100%. Yeah, I'm with Tyvis on that. Like, I've been saying Ty Simpson is a dude as far as a quarterback. Like, I don't think he's as electric as some of the other players, but I watched that dude in that Florida State game. He got destroyed. His offensive line was absolute crap. And he got up like with his, face in the turf, getting his elbow bent the wrong way, like everything that could happen to that guy. And he got up and still had them trying to come back late in that game. And when I watched that, I was like, damn, if they ever can block for him, he's a decent quarterback. But they are all flawed. Like Texas A&M, Marcel Reed is going to blow up and throw 3 picks in a game and cost them a game 100%. Like, I wish I could bet on that. Like, will Marcel Reed have a terrible game that costs them a game? Like, he will. Georgia, I think, is like probably the most polished of those 3 teams as far as like they have guys, they all know what to do, they've all won there, but they're just not that good this year. They just don't have the top end talent.
That's what
I don't think any of those 3 teams should scare Ohio State fans. I think with Tyvis, like you were talking about getting the bye in the first round, that Michigan game is what it is for reasons, right? That's going to be a stressful, tough, physical game. And then when you play Indiana, I mean, it's going to be a tough game. I know we all look at Indiana. Maybe not everybody does. I know a lot of people have looked at Indiana as like, yeah, there's a lot of talk there. They're really good. Like, I think they will give the Buckeyes a game, and you'll want that break after that. So, yeah, I'm not worried about a ton of these SEC teams personally, but the fact of the matter is you have the best, I think, quarterback in college football, 2 best wide receivers in college football. They get done with what they're doing. They walk off the field, and then they hand it over to the defense, who's the best defense in college football right now. I mean, maybe this will change between now and January, but if they were playing it all right now, who would be like if you said, here's the lineup, this is the college football playoffs today, is Ohio State less than a touchdown favorite against any of these teams? Maybe Indiana.
No,
not Indiana either. I told you, right? Me and Baker looked up the spread. It was 10.5 for Ohio State and Indiana right now. So that's not even a thing.
Tyvis, let me ask you a question though, because obviously Ohio State has the best defense on this screen, right?
Yeah.
Of all the teams we're looking at, of all the other teams on this list, who's the second best defense? Because I think the SEC has turned into the Big 12. I think they're playing shootout football every single week, and I think defense is suspect. And we can talk about how they have so much. There's so much on the offensive side of the ball. The defense.
Are you talking? You talking statistically? Statistically, Indiana got their second best defense.
Right. Well, take stats out of it. I'm saying your eye test. Which team on this screen is second
for defense? Oh, Indiana. I think it's Indiana. Indiana's
definitely
Indiana's scrappy.
10 points per game or so.
Yeah. Indiana's scrappy, man. They do a really good job of, like, when I thought of Indiana back in the day, like, I just never thought that they would have the physical traits to be able to go up against some of these teams. But they really been good in banging in the trenches as far as stopping the run, and they got them that secondary that get takeaways. Like they're a solid group. Like they really are good. My thing with Indiana, the reason why I can't jump fully on the Indiana train is because the lack of the 5-star thing. At some point, that's going to come back to haunt you. I don't care what nobody say. Like when you talk about them versus an Ohio State, the fact that they don't have now one 5-star on their roster, and I get that they work hard and all of those things, that makes a ton of sense. But at some point, the God-given ability has to take place. And if you telling me like our 5-stars they work hard and they push themselves to the extra mile and they develop really well, there's no way that a 3-star is going to be able to match that. Like, it's just not genetically possible. So like that's where I fall with Indiana. Like if they had a bunch of 5-stars and they was doing this, I'd say it's an even matchup. But at some point, that the fact that they ain't got no dudes like that, it's gonna bite them.
All right, so T-Bone, I know we're going to hear a lot more of your comments tomorrow on your show, you and Tyvis, 6 to 9. Mikey, you got any final words before we get back at it tomorrow at 3:00?
Do I have to host with you tomorrow?
No, I can stay home. I got to have lunch with Bob Capace tomorrow. So I'll be a little late into the building.
No final words other than I like Tyler's big white microphone. Bye-bye.
See you.
I got to go to bed, Ramon.
He's sick. He's sick.
T-Bone, thanks a lot for hanging out. Good to see you, buddy. Congrats on winning the Halloween costume party. That was outstanding. That made me laugh very much.
I thought yours was pretty good. I enjoyed the Billy Ripken for sure. The bat was a nice touch.
I'm glad somebody noticed the butt of the baseball bat.
It's the baseball card, 100%.
That was where the
very good out of you.
Whole costume came together right there. All right, my man. We'll see you.
See you guys.
All right. We've got our Ohio State football expert here with the Fan and 10 TV, Austin and Berm. You know him from that sub channel of ours that is doing a fantastic job. Austin Ward is hanging out here tonight with us. Austin, thanks a lot for joining us from your home as well.
Yeah.
As we just saw the first rankings come out, as you can see it right there, 4 SECs, 6, 5, 4, 3, Ole Miss, Georgia, Bama, Texas A&M, Indiana 2, Ohio State 1. We're maybe kind of, I wouldn't say pins and needles, but wondering if we were going to see maybe a flipperoo, if the Hoosiers were going to be given the number 1 spot. Can't really argue with their dominant win over Illinois and beating Oregon on the road right now, but your thoughts on everything that came out tonight?
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty encouraging first set of rankings for the Big Ten as a whole. I was on guard, Timmy, for this committee to, suck up is not the right word, but at least to send an olive branch to the SEC, which spent so much time in the offseason demanding and expecting and asking for the strength of record metric to be accounted for differently in the formula. And according to that, Texas A&M was checking in at number 1, and you would have had a case, I think, to put Indiana ahead of Ohio State. So I was on guard for that. I wasn't particularly worried about it from Ohio State's perspective because all of this is going to be sorted out on the field, as we all know, over the next 4 weeks and then 5. I would say that, Tyvis jumped in there with the point spread. There are a couple of the sites that actually have this game listed for the Big Ten championship game, and Ohio State's only favored by 3.5, so not the double digits. I'm not sure where you guys saw that, Tyvis, but
we had Baker looked it up on DraftKings, but this was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so there's actually a line listed right now, and Ohio State's favored in the range of 2.5 to 3.5 in that game, and I think they're the 2 best teams in the country to this point, Timmy. I think that's entirely fair, and it wouldn't have made any difference to me if the order had been reversed. I think Ryan Day probably would have not minded at all to see number 2 or number 3 and have a little way to motivate his team.
Look, and Tyvis, you can jump in too. I think a lot of this fighting and debating that's going on right now between SEC country and Big Ten country is what makes college football great. It's what makes it fun. It's why there's going to be interest, and it's not going to be resolved until the college football playoff. This is the whole reason why they wanted a system that was like this, that got a few more teams to the party. I mean, to see what Indiana is doing, to see a program that was just a complete afterthought. I mean, you don't see that a lot in college football outside of like one little blip. Like you remember we had Kansas way back then where they were in the top 3. Mizzou was as well. And you've seen Mizzou take a little bit of a step. So maybe they're an example of how someone can climb out of the cellar and then maybe have staying power. But Indiana's doing it right now, and it's ultra impressive. They are, to me, the best two teams in the country, most complete offensively and defensively. And we can talk all day long about, oh, well, our competition in the SEC is better. No, Big Ten competition is just fine. They'll all get to prove it when we get to the college football playoff. And Tyvis, that's what I'm so excited for when we get to mid-December, late December to sort all this out.
I've always looked forward towards bowl season because I love to see these conferences mix and see what happens. And obviously last year, Ohio State got the best of them. I don't even think did the SEC make it to the? Oh, I guess Texas did. Texas made it. To the
Ohio State knocked off 2 SECs.
Yeah. So it's Austin. Do you think it'll ever be a time that the SEC like won't be viewed as this conference that's just really good from top to bottom? Like when you look at the middle of their conference, like is it ever going to get to a point where people realize like maybe that middle isn't as dominant as it once was? Because I mean that's kind of what it seems like.
I think all we can do, Tyvis, is rightfully point out to the results that matter. I saw, some narratives about the SEC's record against Power 4 opponents coming into tonight, and how it was the best one in the country, and like it was just a string of wins over 500 teams from the ACC or from the Big 12, and I don't want it to be a situation where we have to just beat the drum for the Big 10 and hope that people start paying attention to the fact that really good football is being played in this league. I think the selection committee helps in that front. I know that you look and you see 3, 4, 5, 6 on the screen right now. It's like, well, that is a lot of tipping of the hat to the SEC, and that's true. But I think when you start to look down a little bit further, and not just Oregon, when you get into that sort of logjam where you have Washington, you have Michigan, you have USC in the league now, and in Iowa, like I was listening to the reaction live, watching the show, and Greg McElroy's like, "What a reach this is for Iowa!" Like, okay, they're 6-2, and they've been very competitive. Yeah, they lost one early to Iowa State, but they'll just use different criteria to boost up other teams. And to your point, Tyvis, will that stop? I think eventually it will, because but maybe that's too optimistic, because the last 2 national championships, if I'm not mistaken, have been won by the Big Ten. And right now, if you look at the number 1 seed and the number 2 seed, those are also coming from the Big Ten. There is high-level football being played in this league. And I'm not saying that there isn't in the SEC, because obviously there is. But I would like there to be more of a recognition that the Big Ten and the SEC are on level footing, rather than just arguing over supremacy, when I don't really think that exists between those two anymore.
I mean, how many national championships do you have to win, right? I mean, the one thing that we can say for the SEC historically, and look, if you go back over the quarter century, right? Like there's really no debating it. They've won more national championships over that long haul, but the Big Ten has done a better job here recently in catching up, and the expansion of the conference is a big deal with some of the programs that they just welcome. Like we can get that, but the SEC, let's see, they've had, LSU have a couple different spikes. They've had Auburn win a national championship. They've had Georgia spike up here recently. They had Alabama go on the most dominant stretch in college football history. So maybe in a way I kind of get it. Like that's what they always want to hold their hat on. They can look at those factors that all these different programs have won national championships. So I guess that just means that even when Auburn is completely terrible, right now, that there's still this great program that can do that. And the same thing with LSU, who is just awful and had to fire Brian Kelly. But if we could just get, I'm not saying I ever want to see it. Like it sucked seeing Michigan win a national championship, but if other programs step up and do that and like bust down the gate, like if Ohio State is not going to have a year where they do it, as long as it ain't Michigan, if somebody else wound up winning the Natty, that's not a bad thing for your conference stature, whether that's Oregon or if USC gets back to a point where they can do that, or Indiana here.
I'm about to say, I think Indiana is somebody you got to look at, because I didn't know Mark Cuban was a supporter of Indiana. So
they've got money.
They got money. So if that's the case, what Kirk Cignetti is building, I think kids will start believing. if you can do this with a 3-star and a 4-star, and I'm a 5-star, like Indiana is look, hey, you gonna pay me well like that? I don't think this is just like some one-off thing with Indiana. I think like if they continue to get the financial backing that they're getting, like I don't know where they are in recruiting right now. Probably not even top 10, probably not even top 15. But I think that will change eventually, especially if they go out there and go on a great run this season.
Tyvis, Harry from Cbus chimes in on the YouTube chat. Shouldn't you be getting to bed? It's 8:32 here. We won't be doing this for much longer, but
I'm about to say I'm getting off of this and going right upstairs to get into bed.
I mean, you're not alone. I've got to be on morning juice.
You on tomorrow?
Yeah. Morning juice for Austin Ward tomorrow at 6 a.m. Boy, I'm just going to be waking up at about 6:30, just a normal little weekday. Watch Jack go to school, have some coffee. Oh, man.
Must be nice.
He's got 2 shows on. He's got Morning Juice and T-Bone and Tyvis on 2 speakers going on at the same time.
I got to, I don't know. Do you guys have a method for football watching? I know like YouTube TV, which doesn't even have ESPN right now. They created that special thing called the multi-view. And we were talking about this at work. They need to get an app that can do the multi-view so you can take like your Amazon Prime window and put it top right, another thing top left. But I will bring down a second screen and put it like near my fireplace in case I need to watch something that's on an app. So that's how I do like my multi-view for, Jackets one screen, multi-view on the other. What do you guys do?
I have to focus on one thing at a time, Timmy. I'm too old. I quad box, octabox. I can't do it. Berm will, when we get the rare night games for Ohio State and we're able to watch, noon games at my house before we go down to the Horseshoe, he's got the iPad up. He's got 4 games over here. He wants me to put 4 games on the TV. I'm like, I can't. It's too much. I got to focus on one thing at a time. So I don't even know what you're talking about. 2 screens. I got to focus on one thing at a time or I'm lost.
You know what's crazy is I'm not big on the multi-view. I thought I would like that, but like it's too much because literally I'm watching one game. I'm not even really glancing at the other 3 that's on the screen. Like I picked the best game, the most interesting one, and I just watched that because I need to see everything. I'm still in the analyst role where I'm like, it's not that I'm just looking at where the ball is going. I'm looking at corners and linebackers and trying to figure out what coverage they in. Like I'm doing that type of stuff. So I needed the full screen. I'm not a big multi-view guy, unfortunately.
I don't know. Maybe it's just like my son Jack is such a red zone guy, and that's a little different because at least it is on one screen. Aside from when they will do a quick, like you mentioned, Austin, the octo box. That's kind of cool when you see it for at least 30 seconds and then they decide what game to go to. But at least it's giving you that full screen. So I do kind of understand it, Tyvis. I think usually what I use it for is just to sort of check scores. And then I am the guy that's actually clicking on one of the games to then make that full size. And then and when you get to a commercial break or so, hit that back button, throw the 4 screen back up. But that's the problem, is that not everything is on the one TV service. There's so many different places you have to go to watch it all. But as we're breaking down the college football playoff rankings on the first night of it here, you see the top 6 there: Ole Miss, Georgia, Alabama, Texas A&M, Indiana, and Ohio State. As we wrap this up, the Buckeyes have been so impressive all year long. I'm sure SEC degenerates are going to point to the schedule that remains, and they're not going to have a tough game until that last game of the season against Michigan. So be it. Indiana's sort of mowing through their schedule as well. Austin, what is the thing about this Ohio State team right now at this point in the season that impresses you the most?
Yeah, it's such a long list, to be honest, Timmy, but I've really been enamored with the development of Julian Sayin, and that may seem like something that's pretty obvious, but I think there's a lot of people that are catching on, comparing. They watched Ohio State against Texas, and then they sort of tuned out, whether that was Julian Sayin or the Buckeyes, because they haven't played any real competitive games. They haven't been, if someone's watching, like you mentioned with the multi-view, they need to flip over and see if Ohio State was going to lose. And I think that there were a handful of national media folks that were sitting next to me in the press box last week. They didn't cancel the trip that they had planned all offseason to watch Ohio State, Penn State. And they're like, this Julian Sains doing some things that I didn't know he could do. I said, well, it's been building this way for the last 7 games. And Ohio State realized pretty quickly that they could put more on Julian Sains' plate. Ryan Day said so after the Texas game. And we're seeing that week after week after week. I know Tyvis can vouch for that with what he's seeing as well. But to me, it goes beyond that, because there was so much conversation about training camp. And then it goes back to the quarterback competition and whether it was legitimate or not in the minds of people outside the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. It's no joke. The 5 practices that we saw in spring, Lincoln Kienholz was better in 4 out of 5. And so Julian Sains' development, the way that he's taken to the coaching, the way that the experience has helped him grow, is amazing to watch, because there was a real possibility, if we were talking about this in March, that Ohio State may have needed to, consider some other alternative at quarterback. And Julian said, no, watch what's going to happen here. I'll take that coaching. I'll get in the weight room. I'll get on the film. And then once you get into the season, I'm not looking back. And the way he's improved week after week is truly remarkable.
That's wild. Tyvis, what about you? I know you said earlier this year, you and Joshua Perry were admitting together, we couldn't play on this defense. We wouldn't be in the starting 11. These guys are so good. I couldn't believe those words came out of your mouth.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's kind of shocking because, the ATH that I was, the playmaker that I was.
Yep.
No, I just think that, when you look at this defense, there's not really a guy that you could point out and say, like, he's having a bad year. Like, and that's rare to be able to say, like, all 11 of those guys is having a pretty productive season. And I think that speaks volumes. And then what I really like is you're rotating guys in there. You're seeing young guys, Devin Sanchez, Zion Grady. Like, you're seeing guys like these guys come in the game and, like, make plays. So it's so many different guys. And, when you get to the CFP, the season's long. Your depth is going to get tested every single season. Somebody's going to go down unexpectedly, and you have to be able to depend on that next guy to go in there. Last year, it was our offensive line. It was so many guys on that offensive line that went down, and guys had to switch positions. Guys had to step up, and that allowed them to continue to have some success. I hope it doesn't happen, but it's football. Somebody's going to go down, and that next guy is going to have to go up in there. And, going into the season, one of the things that my mindset going into the season was you got to be patient with this Buckeye team, because these are a bunch of young guys that's inexperienced, and it's going to take them a while to be able to, like, be dominant. And right from game 1, I felt like that was a lie. I felt like these guys was already hitting the ground running. And, that's a lot of credit to Ryan Day being able to get those guys prepared, because I know that was one of the things that he worried about in the spring. I mean, they changed their entire spring of what they were planning to do because they felt like those guys were inexperienced and wasn't ready to play. So he got those guys ready to play. And when you watch them, it's not many mistakes being made. Like, when you talk about fundamentals, like, our fundamentals on our defense is outstanding. You don't see guys missing a lot of tackles. You don't see them giving up explosive. You don't see guys getting outside and breaking these long runs. Like, they do a really good job of leveraging the ball, keeping it contained, staying on top of routes, and playing the ball when it's in the air. Like, it's remarkable to me. And when you playing like that, that's championship level. I mean, even with the great defense that I was on, like, there was guys out there that I can still point to and be like, he had an off day, where I don't really say that when I look at this defense right now. So that's why I said that I don't think we could play, or me or Josh wouldn't be able to play on this defense.
Dear God. Yeah. Waking up between 6 and 7. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, T-Bone.
Why did you do that?
You just have to deal with it, Tyvis.
No, you don't.
Do.
I did that in my house. We don't do that. You leave that outside. We ain't doing that.
No, I did. I saw it. I can't take credit for it, but I saw it in a meme somewhere. It's like I did have my time where I'm just trying to pour into it, saying why it's just a stupid number. Why is this younger generation making that into their joke? We had so much more sophistication in our jokes when we were young. And then I realized that it was just Beavis and Butthead, and it was TP for my bungo. There was no sophistication. Yeah, I mean, come on, fire. Yeah, we were your mama jokes too. That's all we had.
I'll tell you what, Tim, though. One thing that's interesting is that, those 4 teams that's at the bottom of this 25, I think it was Washington, Wolverines, USC, and Iowa. Those 4 teams is interesting to me because they all have a path to making it to the final 12. And it will be very interesting to see how it is, because I know Iowa plays Oregon this week. So that obviously they can knock Oregon and kind of like move up high in the rankings. I know that USC plays somebody tough. I can't remember who it is. Somebody tough like next week. Washington finished the season against Oregon, and then the Wolverines finished the season against us. So if any of those 4 teams went out, like that would put them in. So it's going to be interesting to see that final race.
I think it's USC and Washington next week, if I'm not mistaken. Tyvis, is that
right?
USC
plays Northwestern. They play Iowa at home. They play Oregon on the road, and then UCLA. So
they got a tough road.
That is a tough run. It is a tough run. Hey, want to thank everybody. Good here, Austin. You good? Anything else you want to get off your chest? Good. Yeah, we'll hear you tomorrow on Morning Juice. I know. What other content are you going to be putting out before now and the next Wednesday, Austin?
Between now and then, we've got the beat. We've got a Wednesday stock watch with Berm and myself, so we got a little buy and sell stuff going on there. We have a policy that we try to ignore the college football playoff selection committee. So on that show, we won't be talking about Ohio State checking in at number 1 tomorrow. But I couldn't help myself. I had to jump in here and chat about it with you guys tonight.
No, we also asked you, so you were nice to do it. Real company guy, the 3 of us, just company men right here. Austin, thanks a lot for the time, man. Have a good show tomorrow. And Tyvis, it was fun catching up with you too. Thanks for your insight. Always love seeing your smiling face. I saw the girls were running around there.
Yeah,
in
I had to kick them out. I had to kick them out.
Get out of here. You're being too loud. Yeah.
No, I appreciate you for having me on. It's always fun being able to share the stage with you and Common Man and T-Bone and Austin. And shout out to Tyler. Shout out to Jen for being backstage and holding it down and keeping us updated. This was really fun to do. Glad we could connect with the fans. Hope everybody have a good night. Make sure y'all get up in the morning to listen to T-Bone and Tyvis 6 to 9.
Do it. Yeah. Thanks to T-Bone. Thanks to Common Man as well. And thank you to all of you guys for checking us out and watching it. Have a great night. Buckeyes are number 1. Let's keep this thing going. Good night, everybody.